Hello and welcome to News 9. I'm Nishchita. And first up, copious rains in the catchment areas have resulted in increased inflows into the dams in Karnataka. The water level is just 3 feet away in KRS to reach full capacity. In Yadgir, the Basaveshwar Nagar Dam has reached a full capacity and water has been released from the dam. Well, ahead of the monsoons, there were fears of this year being the El Nino year, and there being a rain deficit, but going by the rainfall so far, certainly no one is complaining, and KRS Dam is almost full to the brim. These are the scenes witnessed in Mysore as well as Yadgir. The dams are gushing with water. It is a beautiful sight for tourists in Basavasagara Dam of Yadgir, as the gates have been opened and the water is gushing through thanks to the dam filling up. In Mysore's Krishnarajasagara Dam too, the water is almost full to the brim. The dam, in fact, is almost full. My colleague Varghese joins us with more details on this. Well, Varghese, definitely good news for the state.
Well, it is a very good news for the state. In fact, there's been a lot of anticipation with regards to the monsoons. The monsoons had, in fact, across the state had dwindled during the month of early week of June, but now it has picked up pace, and there's been copious rainfall in the Malnad region as well as in the catchment areas. That is why there's been a lot of inflow into the dams in KRS as well as in Yadgir, and now both the dams, in fact, in Yadgir, the Basaveshwara Dam has in fact been filled, and while in KRS is just 3 feet away from being filled, and so they will become into full capacity, and now the water is being in fact sent across the dams because of it's almost reaching its full capacity, and the sluice gates are being opened. So it's good news for the farmers in the state as well as across the border also, as a lot of water will in fact reach the farmers across the border in Tamil Nadu also, and they've been anticipating it to rise further and reach its full brim probably by today or tomorrow if the rains continue in the catchment as well as the coastal areas. So good news for the farmers in the state, and the canals are also filling up. Farmers are happy that they will be able to get enough water for the crops, and they are also looking ahead for ensuring that they get a bumper harvest this year, Nishita.
Right, and also, Varghese, one of the characteristics of the El Nino year is that a lot of rainfall that is designated to an area is delivered within a short span of time, thereby causing more damage than good to any region. So as far as this year is concerned, can we expect the rainfall to slowly stop, considering that we've had plenty of rainfall so far?
Well, if you look at it, the fact that the plenty of rainfall that we've got is enough. The water storage capacity of these dams are in fact almost to the full. So it is highly possible that the water content that is there is more than enough for the both for the hydroelectric power stations as well for farming purposes. So it is being said that it will be more than enough, and that the state government is quite happy with the fact that these two dams have been filled, Nishita.
Right, thank you for joining us with all those details there, Varghese. Well, there we have it. The incessant rainfalls, especially in the Malnad and the coastal areas, has led to Mysore as well as Yadgir dams filling up to the brim, whereas the Yadgir gates have also been opened up in Mysore. The Krishnarajasagara Dam is just 3 feet away from being full. And moving on now, Vijay Mallya has appeared before the magistrate court with regards to an income tax case. The income tax department claims that Kingfisher owes 266 crore rupees in arrears to them. Kingfisher Airlines chairman Vijay Mallya has sought exemption from personally appearing before the special court for economic offences in Bengaluru earlier in April after being served summons in 3 cases filed by the income tax department. The cases were filed against the airline and Mallya for not remitting tax deducted at source to the government. Well, in fact, now Vijay Mallya, the troubled king of good times, has appeared before the magistrate in connection to the arrears worth 266 crore rupees of his brand Kingfisher. Well, earlier Mallya had sought exemption from personally appearing before the Special Court for Economic Offences in the city in April after being served summons in 3 cases filed by the Income Tax Department. The cases were filed against the airline and Mallya for not remitting tax deducted at source. And moving on now, in a shocking case of murder in cold blood, a home alone woman was found dead in her house in Jayanagar. The 64-year-old woman was bludgeoned to death. The deceased has been identified as Pratima. She has been staying alone for the last 2 to 3 years. Police suspect that someone known to her might have committed the murder as there were no signs of forced entry into the house. After killing her, the murderers locked the house and have walked out. When her son tried contacting her, her phone was switched off for a long time. This is when he suspected that something was wrong and visited her house. But to his shock, his mother was lying in a pool of blood in her house. Let's listen to what DCP Revan had to say.
Today at about 1:30, Naveen Kumar, he came to Jayanagar police station and he gave an oral complaint stated that her mother, Pratima, aged about 64 years, wife of Narsimurthy, and she was killed by unknown persons. And somebody had entered into that house of Pratima. She was alone since last 2 to 3 years. Her children, daughter and son, they were separated. They were living separately, and the husband also living separately. She was alone. And some known persons, they gained entry into the house of Pratima, and they were inside. Later on, they killed this lady and they went away by putting that door lock, and they went away from the house. But actually, she spoke to her son Naveen on Sunday morning. Afterwards, her mobile was switched off, and he tried his level best to contact her mother, but he could not contact. Today morning by 11:30, he came to house and he opened the door, and when he went inside, he saw that ghastly incident. And he came to police station and lodged a complaint. And murder case has been reported in Jayanagar police station. Some known persons, they gained entry into the house, and finally, we don't know why it happened. They killed her and they went away.
Well, a shocking case there emerging from Jayanagar in the city, where a 64-year-old woman was found brutally murdered. It was her son who suspected that something was wrong, as his mother had remained unreachable for several days. Since Sunday, she had remained unreachable. He finally went to her house to check on her and learned that she had been murdered as she was lying in a pool of blood. She was bludgeoned to death is what we understand, but the police officials believe that it could be a case of a known person, considering that there was no forced entry into the house. There were absolutely no signs of struggle as well, and hence the police believe that this was a case where known people were involved. They have managed to gain entry into the house with the trust that the woman had on them, and have then committed the heinous crime, locked the house and walked away.